As winter descended in December 1941, the established norms of warfare had utterly disintegrated. Poland succumbed in a mere 5 weeks. France, once boasting what many believed was the world's premier fighting force, disintegrated in just 6. The Wehrmacht's panzers, a whirlwind of steel, tore through cities and across farmlands at a pace that left military leaders worldwide aghast. The Maginot Line, once heralded as an impenetrable barrier, was bypassed with contemptuous ease by tanks and aircraft that scorned traditional sieges. A pressing question now gripped Washington. How could America possibly confront an adversary that struck with such lightning velocity? Within the War Department, the arguments raged. Many officers advocated for tanks mirroring the immense weight of German Panthers and the impregnable armor of Tigers. If a formidable hammer was the enemy's chosen weapon, they contended, then America's response must be an even mightier one. Yet amidst this escalating storm, a lone voice defied the prevailing consensus. It belonged to Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Davis Bruce, a cavalryman by trade, a man who understood speed not as a mere statistic, but as the very heartbeat of combat. Bruce had meticulously observed the swift collapses of Poland and France. He discerned not just engines and armor, but a profound shift in military philosophy. Victory was no longer secured by holding firm, but by launching the first strike, by striking with overwhelming speed, and by never allowing the adversary to dictate the terms of engagement. For Bruce, the notion of attempting to out-tiger the Tiger was nothing short of suicidal. America, he argued, could not possibly triumph in a contest of sheer weight and armor. Its path to victory lay elsewhere in daring audacity, cunning maneuver, and devastating surprise. He unveiled a concept that many in the room found utterly reckless, even preposterous. Bruce envisioned a specialized force that would shun defense, refuse to dig in, and never engage in a mutual exchange of blows. Instead, it would be a relentless hunter. Its sole objective to locate enemy armor, annihilate it, and vanish before any counterattack could materialize. Its creed would be as stark as it was aggressive: seek, strike, destroy. Bruce drew inspiration from the legendary frontier cavalry, horsemen who moved too swiftly for their foes to pin down, choosing precisely when and where to unleash their attacks. Replace the horse with a machine, he insisted, and the fundamental principle remained unchanged. A modern battlefield, he contended, still held ample room for a predator whose survival stemmed not from heavy plating, but from blistering speed. Around him, skepticism hung thick in the air. How could a thinly skinned vehicle hope to survive the blast of an 88mm gun? How could soldiers be asked to face battle without the reassuring protection of thick steel? To many, this proposition felt akin to ordering troops to charge into a firestorm without a shield. Yet Bruce remained unyielding. He firmly believed that America's true strength lay not in mimicking Germany's war machine, but in utterly shattering its strategic logic. For such a force to exist, an entirely new class of vehicle had to be conceived. It would not lumber across landscapes like a mobile fortress. It would not deflect incoming shells with towering walls of steel. Instead, it would be lean, exceptionally light, and astonishingly fast, so fast that its survival would hinge on mere seconds, not inches of armor. Every single pound of armor shed translated into a second gained. Every second gained represented a chance at life. Picture the battlefield through Bruce's eyes. German Panthers advancing in rigid formations, their formidable guns scanning for targets. Suddenly, from the tree line, a small low silhouette explodes forward. In the fleeting moments it takes for a German turret to begin its agonizing turn, 3 rapid shots have already cracked out. Wisps of smoke still trail in the air. Then, as abruptly as it appeared, the machine is gone, reversing at incredible speed, disappearing behind the next undulation of the terrain. It is not armor that spares it, but pure, unadulterated motion. Not brute strength, but the mastery of time. Bruce fully acknowledged the inherent risks. He knew crews would fight exposed, vulnerable to virtually every enemy weapon. But he also knew that America's unparalleled automotive genius, its vast factories, and brilliant engineers could imbue his vision with a body of steel and an engine of fire. He was convinced that a vehicle meticulously engineered for speed, wielded with audacious courage, could fundamentally alter the very grammar of armored warfare. In that hushed briefing room in Washington, the revolutionary concept of the tank destroyer force was born. It was a perilous gamble, a direct challenge to conventional wisdom and ingrained fear. America would not wait passively behind defensive walls of armor. It would hunt. But an idea articulated on paper was one thing. Forging a machine to embody it was an entirely different challenge. Could engineers successfully create a vehicle that boldly traded protection for sheer velocity, yet still afford its crew a fighting chance? Could a thin shell of steel, a powerful cannon, and a roaring engine truly stand against the monstrous machines Germany had unleashed? On a drafting table in Detroit, a set of bold lines began to materialize. They were not the towering, imposing outlines of a tiger or panther, but something far lower, sharper, almost skeletal in its efficiency. It was the preliminary sketch of a weapon designed not to meet strength with equal strength, but to transform the battlefield itself into its ultimate shield. The pencil paused. The lines hung in silent anticipation. The gamble had officially begun. The German approach to armored combat had been meticulously forged in the crucible of conquest. From the lightning campaigns in Poland and France, through the brutal battles in the Balkans, to the immense, sprawling plains of Russia, the Wehrmacht's doctrine had been rigorously tested and relentlessly refined. It rested upon a singular, unwavering belief: armor and firepower were the undisputed arbiters of battle. To the German mind, victory on the battlefield was unequivocally seized by the force capable of withstanding the storm and striking with the most devastating power from the greatest distances. For them, a tank destroyer was never conceived as a swift, agile hunter. It was instead a mobile fortress. The very word itself, Jagdpanzer, meaning hunting tank, perfectly encapsulated this deep-seated philosophy. German designers engineered colossal, slab-sided machines such as the Jagdpanther or the elephant vehicles that appeared to have been hewn directly from solid iron cliffs. They were constructed to absorb unimaginable punishment, to outlast any direct confrontation, and to deliver a decisive kill with a single, precisely aimed shot from a formidable, long-barreled gun. The Jagdpanther, for instance, represented 46 tons of unyielding steel determination. Its armor was exceptionally thick and cleverly angled to deflect incoming projectiles. Its 88mm cannon, a weapon renowned for its lethal reach, could effortlessly strike targets over a mile away, dispatching any Allied tank with terrifying ease. To German crews, it embodied both an impregnable shield and a potent sword. Its operation demanded patience, meticulous calculation, and unwavering discipline. They would position these machines with exquisite care on ridgelines or concealed at the periphery of woods, their angular hulls often draped with camouflage netting. Then, they would patiently await their moment. When an enemy tank inevitably appeared, the Jagdpanther would speak with a thunderous roar, and the target would simply vanish in a plume of fire and dust. German officers were utterly convinced that this methodical approach was unassailable. Every engagement, they believed, served to reinforce the fundamental lesson: thick armor equated to survival, and big guns guaranteed victory. When initial reports filtered back to Berlin suggesting that the Americans were experimenting with a vehicle weighing a mere 17 tons, sporting armor no thicker than half an inch in certain places, the idea was met with derision. American naivety, they scoffed. The Americans clearly do not comprehend the realities of the battlefield.